Hello, this is Eric Wade, and this professional learning is about using 3D design and printing to engage students. It's another addition to the Engaging Students playlist that you can find up on YouTube at the MLTI YouTube page. So let's get started. We're going to start with looking at examples of 3D design, kind of how you can kind of get started with it. Is third, but the beginning part kind of talks about the two big uh, ways that you can start working with 3D design and some examples of some websites that already have some really great 3D designs already on there. Then we'll get into integrating, how to integrate 3D design and printing into your class. We'll go look at getting started and then a list of resources at the very end. So let's get started with some examples. These two, SketchUp and Tinkercad, are by far the two best 3D design and 3D printing applications that I've used. SketchUp is a Google product. If you are a Google school, then you automatically have access to Google SketchUp. You just have to go in through the educator, which there's a link at the very end on how to get started with that. SketchUp is really a computer-aided design program. It's a CAD program. It's really fantastic. I can't talk about it enough. I've used it so many times in my class for everything from designing outside spaces and the garden spaces, all the way up to cell work, working with cells, and kind of looking at the diagramming of cells. It is incredible what you can do with SketchUp. Tinkercad is probably the best 3D designer to use when you're going to be doing any printing. If you're going to be doing any sort of 3D printing, Tinkercad is the way to go. You can, the nice thing about Tinkercad is it allows you to export the file multiple ways, so you can use it in multiple ways. So you theoretically could take a Tinkercad object that you made and put it into SketchUp, or you can take your Tinkercad and put it into like a VR design program like CoSpaces. You have a lot of options for how the file is exported out of Tinkercad. So these two are fantastic when it comes to building three-dimensional objects, printing three-dimensional objects. If you want to look for inspiration, these are the two best that I've found, two best websites that I've found that have to do with collections of 3D design, 3D images that have already been built. So Thingiverse is the first one, and Thangs is the second one. They are all what are called OBJ files, which means you can print any of them right from your 3D printing application if you wanted to print any of these. But you can also open them up in lots of different applications as well. So, for instance, you could open something you found in Thingiverse or Thangs in Tinkercad and adjust it, make it your own, change some things, change the size, do whatever you needed to do, and then print off whatever your finished version is. So Thingiverse and Thangs, very good kind of libraries of already pre-created 3D objects. So let's look at how we would integrate this. Because those are where you can kind of begin. Those are the best options for beginning. Let's talk about what you do if you're actually interested in moving this forward. So some ways that you could do this with math. Designing scale models is such a big piece of math, and designing in SketchUp or in Tinkercad is a fantastic way to build scale objects. It gives you the measurements of the objects, so you can scale it up, scale it down, depending on how you want to do it. Algebra models, you can 3D design, 3D print models for algebra to help kind of make that algebra concept more concrete. Area, perimeter, volume, obviously, is such a big one. If you could design in 3 dimensions, you can calculate all those pieces to it. Creating 3D models of fractions to help with fractional understanding, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. And one of the things that I really like about Tinkercad is that you have the ability to rotate objects. So in 3 dimensions, you can see it in 3 dimensions. So there's a couple of math standards that have to do with looking at objects in different rotations and how they change. So this is a fantastic way to kind of get that standard in a way that's very concrete for students. So let's talk about science. As far as building models, Tinkercad is a fantastic way of building models, but SketchUp is actually a really great way of also building a model if you're going to build something that's more in depth or more complex, like multiple 3D images in a single space. We've done it to build 3D towns before and all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's a great way to build science models. Again, they're always making their abstract concrete, being able to build an atom in Tinkercad and be able to print it so you have those pieces you can actually visualize, or building it and so you can see it in 3 dimensions and work with it 3 dimensionally. Project-based learning is 3D printing is a fantastic way to actually solve real-world problems. If you can figure out a way, if you have a problem, you can probably print a solution to it that might be very useful for somebody. I've used it, SketchUp in the past for different reasons, different kind of classroom experiences for design. So we built multiple garden spaces in SketchUp, and outdoor classrooms in SketchUp, really kind of using the design of it to really get students to be able to be creative and kind of put their thinking, their idea in a 3 dimensional experience. And then the last one, this link will take you to a website. If you do any field sketching and you want to kind of make it a little more something you can actually print off or something you can actually manipulate in 3 dimensions, follow this link right here to a website that will take a 2D image that you've drawn and convert it into 3 dimensional image so that you can print it off if you wanted to. It's a fantastic website. It works very, very well. For social studies, making maps using a 3D modeler to either make a map or print a map or make a 3D version of it in like a SketchUp or something, which is really great. You can build monuments. You can either have them, print them off and connect it to some sort of historical piece or something that is done in school or whatever. It's kind of up to you. If you're, I know some social studies teachers who do a lot of kind of create your own country, create your own economy, create your own culture, create all those different pieces. You could actually like build all of those things 3 dimensionally, either in a SketchUp or in a Tinkercad, and print them off if you wanted to. So you could have a 3D flag that you printed off that is your flag. The trouble with printing off something like a flag is that almost all the printers that people have in schools will only print one color at a time. So that does become a bit of a problem. But if you print in white, you can use a Sharpie to color over the top of that. But if you didn't want to print it, if you just wanted to build, you build your own country and you want to build it in 3 dimensions, use SketchUp, a fantastic tool to be able to do something like that. And you can design a flag right in there as well. Custom board pieces, if you create games, if you do any gamification in your class, you can have students create their own game pieces so to be part of that game that you created. And it also is a great opportunity too to print off any sort of ancient building or tool that you're studying in class to give kids a 3D concrete idea of what this thing looks like currently or looked like in the past. And then for ELA literacy, if students can work with the book that they're reading to kind of take their idea of what they think their character looks like and print them off, or create them in 3 dimensions. They can then take that character and make the entire book setting right in SketchUp, add it right to it so that that character can be a part of the setting of the book. A great reflection piece is to write about the process of doing this, doing 3 dimensions, whether it's designing or printing, is an iterative process. It's not done well the first time. It does take multiple tries at something to kind of get it where you want it. So having an opportunity for students to reflect on that is really cool. Just giving students the opportunity to have 3D design be part of their assessment in some way. If you're having students write a story or they're writing an essay or they're using evidence to support it, having something like a SketchUp or even Tinkercad where you can print off the object, have students be able to design these things, take their reader on a tour, and include the a visual piece to their writing. And then the last one is I always thought this was a cool idea is create a symbol where the symbol that the symbol that represents a book they're reading, or and then they have to then take that and explain why that symbol represents the book that they're doing. So they could design it in 3 dimensions and either print it or not print it. It's kind of up to you, because they can absolutely turn in assignments that are done in a Tinkercad or a SketchUp so that you can view them with ease. So and then have the writing piece that goes along with that. So let's look about getting started. If you are new to 3D design, then you're going to want to start with these tutorials. These links right here will take you to a tutorial that will get you started with how to use SketchUp and how to use Tinkercad. Both of them are very straightforward. Tinkercad is probably a little bit easier to start with than SketchUp is. SketchUp has a lot to it, but the basics are really great. Tinkercad is pretty fantastic. It works really, really well. I will say this though, the one downfall of SketchUp is that SketchUp really only works on a computer. It does not work well on a tablet of any kind. There's a viewer on it, but you can't really use SketchUp on the web browser of an iPad or something like that. Tinkercad, on the other hand, works fantastic no matter what you're using it on. There's an app you can download, but it's also web-based as well, so that you can kind of have access to it wherever you are. And it's just as robust whether you're on a website or on the Tinkercad app. So if you are thinking about starting, SketchUp is definitely fantastic if you're going to be doing like a lot of building and you want lots of 3D images, like you're building a town or you're building the setting of a book or you're building a something that has multiple bits and pieces to it. Whereas Tinkercad is best if you're going to be doing something that you're going to print three-dimensionally or that you want to have be like specific colors, or you're going to be using that three-dimensional image in some other application that you're going to be using. But again, the bummer is SketchUp really only works well on a computer, Chromebook, MacBook, any of those are fine, but it does not work at all on an iPad. So if you're getting started, a couple of things to keep in mind. First, here's the teacher the site to SketchUp and the teacher section of Tinkercad, both fantastic places to start. This creation ideas plan takes you to a Google Drive, and in that Google Drive is a video of Tinkercad, somebody creating this in Tinkercad, and the website, the lesson plan that goes along with this. There are multiple examples that you can get you started. If nothing else, just the lesson plan is great to be able to show you how somebody went about planning all of these things out. It's a fantastic resource. Thingiverse, I already talked about, is a great website for already existing three-dimensional objects that somebody else has created. So this last link is a list of 3D printers that you would that would work really, really well in a classroom. This website has the list down here at the bottom. It has specifications, where you can buy it, reasons to buy, reasons to avoid, and then a good explanation. This is the one that I have, a FlashForge. It's fantastic for beginners. Absolutely, I would agree with that. This website is great to get you started. If you're looking at a 3D printer, this is a fantastic resource to kind of get you going on that process. So thank you very much. If you'd like some more information about this, feel free to email me anytime or follow me on Twitter. If you're interested in a contact hour, please click this link. It will take you to a quick Google form, which just asks you kind of a quick follow-up question about the PD. And then the link in the 3D or in the thank you message will take you to this page. Just type your name right here and then hit submit and print, and you'll be able to print off a contact hour for viewing this PD. As always, if you would like to get in touch, please reach out as soon as whenever you feel like it, and I will get back in touch with you as soon as you can. And if you have any other questions about tech integration, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much. Have a great day.